We've never been in your shoes, but we're playing the game of life. We'll chase away all your blues with a laugh and a coaster of strife. Never have I ever, never have I ever, starts now.
Awesome! I came to play! We rolling?
It's all about the game.
Are you playing? It's all about the advice and the stuff that I'm saying.
The advice game. I
Yes.
ruined it.
You kind of did, but it's okay. So, for those of you wondering where we were last week, a very busy week last week. We actually, kind of went on mini vacations.
A little bit.
You got to go home, play with Sherlock.
I did. Went home for about a day, play with my dog. You went.
I went home for about a day, too.
Yeah.
But
Played with your wiener.
Yeah,
dog.
my miniature dachshund Harley Jade Excalibur. And then I actually went to Lake Placid this past weekend, which was legit.
Yeah, man, I haven't been to Placid in so long.
I remember one time I found you in Placid. No, you
did.
found me at a Chinese restaurant on Main Street.
We found each other in Placid.
It was weird because it was one of those things that was hard to premeditate because I was in the middle of the fucking woods and you just happened to be there that weekend.
Yeah.
And one of us must have texted each other and we're just like, oh, I'm in Placid this weekend. You're like, I'm in Placid this weekend. And we're like, oh, and we hung out for an hour or two.
Which was awesome because otherwise, you know how you stay in hotels with your parents and it's fun because you're on a trip, but also when you're a little kid, it's fine. But then when you get older and you want to do more stuff, but they're older and they just want to stay inside and watch TV, we're like, all right, we've done everything.
I've never understood that about people on vacations who just want to stay in and watch TV.
I mean, I don't understand about that. It's more, it happens when we go out on a vacation as a family. It's we did dinner, we did whatever. My parents don't really go out, to bars or anything.
Right.
So after the dinner and the drinks, it's all right, we got nothing. I mean, maybe we could go watch a movie or I don't know. It's just that weird phase of I want to go out.
You have no one to go out with.
Right, exactly.
Which was kind of cool because this weekend, I mean, it did snow both days I was up there.
Oh, really? Interesting.
Yeah. But yesterday, Saturday during the day, because I was there for the NCAA Division III Frozen Four, which is pretty cool. Go Pointers. They were the team I picked to win it all the way through, and they did. Shout out to the UMass Boston women's team. You the real MVPs, because they cheered very well. Anyways, so that was a fun time. I'm back. I'm rested. I'm ready to give some advice. So I'm thinking, Tom, this is Never Have I Ever, the only podcast that does advice from our living room, at least.
It'd be weird if someone else did advice from our living room.
Because it's weird. I mean, I would say this is the only podcast from this living room, but there's been other podcasts from this living room. I can name 2 other podcasts from this living room.
Oh, true. I forgot about the other 2.
Yeah, because you were there on that episode of the wrestling podcast I did in the living room when I first moved here.
Yep.
And then we did that one with the Buffalo Music Cooperative. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is Never Have I Ever, our advice show where we take people's problems and then we try to not necessarily make them feel bad.
Situations that we've never been in before.
Right, but we try not to make them feel bad, but let them know they're under us because they have really fucked up problems.
They're under us? Oh, like they're beneath us. They're subhuman.
Yes,
Got it.
we're
Cool.
we're demigods on this day of Holy Sacrament.
Of course.
The podcast has risen.
Yes. I thought you meant they were under us, we were fucking them, and they were underneath us.
Moving on. You can check us out.
Or not. Or, all right, whatever.
We are on Twitter at twitter.com/NHIE show. We are on the Facebook and the YouTube. And if you have any questions, problems, or life advice you would like us to give to you, you can always check us out on neverhaveievershow@gmail.com. Tom, you ready for our first question today?
Let's do it.
I got to open this email attachment that I have on here because I'm slightly unprepared now that we've gotten the fire truck out of the neighborhood.
Yeah, that was weird. Fire truck just rolled down a one-way street, the wrong way on a one-way street.
I think they have the right of way.
Yeah, they
With the
definitely have the
lights
right
on,
of
they
way.
can do what they want.
But they stopped, got out, were pointing their big flashlights at some balconies, and that was it. Then they pieced.
All right, Tom, question number 1.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm 19 and have been officially dating this guy for about a month.
Mm-hmm.
He is literally my dream guy, caring, genuine, funny, understanding, etc. But I know he's not a judgmental person at all.
You know, side note, I always find it interesting when people describe their significant other in vague terms.
It's always like somewhat positive things.
Like it's
never
always
like,
positive, but it's always very vague. Like hers were genuine, kind, nice, blah blah blah, something.
Well, that plays into her question.
I guess those are personality traits, so it's fine. It's just interesting.
It plays into her question,
Okay,
so that's
sorry.
why it's pretty good.
Keep going.
And I know that he's not judgmental at all, but I'm literally petrified to let him see me completely naked. I'm
Oh.
not fat, but I am in college, and I don't mean that I have flat abs or anything, but I'm just embarrassed about my breasts. When I was 17, I got breast reduction, so now I have scars around my boobs that are fading a little bit, but are definitely noticeable. He has questioned why I always try to cover up myself so much, but I always feel like Frankenstein. I know he's my boyfriend and he really cares about me, but how do I help get over this body issue?
Listen, girl, he's gonna love your boobs no matter what.
Very true.
They are boobs. It's hard to not like boobs when you're a straight guy.
But that's the thing. You're a boob guy.
Yes.
I'm not a boob guy, but I've never like been in the room with some nice boobs. Like for me,
You've never seen a pair of 19-year-old boobs that you didn't at least find a little attractive.
I mean, that's a weird way to phrase it specifically. But yeah, like, do you have any body issues when it comes to people seeing you naked? Because I know you go to the gym, you take care of yourself.
You know, not so much at the moment, but I have had moments where, like if I'm not going to the gym, like the gym thing is more of a recent, back on the horse with that. I tend to do it a bunch and then something happens and then I stop it for a while and then I pick it back up. So now I'm back on the upswing. But like over the summer when I was in the downswing and I was seeing this one girl, I was a little conscious because I was like, man, I am skinny but also like not in shape and also feel like I put on a little bit of weight. It's this weird, I don't know. So it's like I was a little self-conscious. I get self-conscious about me being too skinny, if anything.
Because I'm much more the other way.
I was very self-conscious the first time a girl saw me naked, though. Like I was.
When you were born?
Yes, I have that amazing memory to go back to that day.
Hey, man.
But no, like the first time a girlfriend saw me naked, I was very self-conscious beforehand, just like, all right, I'm gonna take my pants off and hope for the best.
See what happens.
Yeah, just kind of a hope for the best. Like, hope she doesn't laugh at me. Hope it doesn't look weird. I don't know. So yeah, it was. I can understand where this girl's coming from, but I think if you get into it and start being intimate, you're gonna be a lot more self-confident. Because he's going to reassure you that this is fine, blah, 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 that he doesn't mind, or he just still thinks you're attractive. And then that's just going to boost your ego and your confidence.
Yeah, I think definitely from this perspective, you got to be confident in yourself, because that's the sexiest thing in the world.
Get over the hump and take off your shirt.
Well, let them know.
Take off your shirt, girl.
If you are nervous, if you are nervous about it, at least let them know, like, hey, to be up front, I had a little bit of reduction surgery going on here.
Yeah, and I still have the scars.
So don't judge me. I wonder if she's afraid to say it because he's just like, oh, man, they could have been bigger.
I was wondering that, too. Which at 19, if he's like 19, I'm sure that thought might cross his mind. Whereas I feel like an older guy, like a guy in his mid-20s, would like jokingly have that thought, but then be like, yeah, that's probably good, though. You probably have a lot less back problems, right? Cool. Awesome.
I mean, it's obviously for the best. It's not like she did it to deprive, or you did it to deprive anybody of anything. It's all about just being confident with yourself. Because, I mean, I have a feeling that if your body is naked and his body is naked and everything is consensual, there's not much at that point that's going to turn either one of you off.
Everyone, I feel like the first time you get naked in front of someone, everyone's a little bit nervous for like a second.
A second? Usually it's like for the first 5 minutes.
No, like a second. Like, when you're young, it's awkward. The older you get, the less
What do you mean when you're young? How young are you talking?
I guess I should put it, the older you get, the less awkward you feel being naked in front of people. Like, the more times you've been naked in front of people, the less awkward you feel about it. So, like, first time I was naked in front of a girl, and first time it was like, all right, this is a little, all right, I hope everything's good, cool, awesome, we're having sex, cool.
Because there's a lot of trust in there.
Yeah, and then you get older, though, and you're like, I know what I'm packing. I can kind of assume what you're packing. All right, that looks about as good, if not better than what I expected. Good on you, and I would like to fuck you.
I think the biggest thing is ripping off that Band-Aid.
Yeah, it's just like you get naked, and for a second you're like, hope she likes it, and then but she does, and then you still have sex, you know.
Yeah, because like if you both want to have sex, just don't feel bad about yourself, because obviously you've done something right to get it to that point.
Yeah, exactly. Like, she's not going to laugh at you, or in this case, he's not going to laugh at you.
Or be horrified.
Right.
So be confident. Be you. Be sexy. Have sex. Have lots of sex.
Oh my God. Never stop.
That's gross. All right. Next question. Saturday, I was at a birthday party. The girl that a year ago friend-zoned me was there. We talked for a little while. I grew some balls and I kissed her. Everything was going so well. I was in God mode. I was looking like a self-confident badass.
In God mode. Nice.
We made out the whole night. We talked about becoming fuck buddies, and we totally agreed on it.
Oh, yeah.
Today at school, we've only said hello and bye because I didn't know what to say to her. How do I make her my friend with benefits? Should I text her? Should I speak to her? What should I even say? I have no clue how to make this situation escalate itself.
Interesting. I never quite been in this situation before.
I have.
Yeah? What did you do? How did you do it?
Let's see. I was in college, and it was a friend of mine's friend who, just based on like how we always kept going out, like it would just be all of us there. And a lot of alcohol was consumed, and we made out one night, and we're like, okay, well, that can't happen because friend doesn't like it. And then, you know, we just kept texting, and then before we knew it, it became, you know, a full-on diddle fest.
So you kept texting, basically.
Yeah, you got to keep that communication going.
Okay, so what did you say, though?
I have no idea.
Did you just keep it flirty?
I think it was a bit of keeping it flirty.
Okay.
But I do remember.
You didn't specifically say, like, hey, so on Tuesday, you want to come over and fuck?
It wasn't so much that. I actually remember it kind of worked out because the mutual friend had gone with some other dude that night and left her friend to just, like, go home.
Oh.
So she just, like, came back.
Gotcha.
And went to town.
Went to Flavor Town.
Where everybody squirts.
I mean, I always had, like, accidental fuck buddies. Well, no, not even fuck buddies. More just one-night stands. Like, this one girl, I remember I wanted to be fuck buddies with her, and this was, like, I was, like, 18, 19, and I pretty much just flat out said, like, hey, over this break, do you want to fuck? And she's like, yeah, sure. Like, okay, cool. And things happened, and then years later, there's this other girl who I met out at a bar. Actually, it was a strip club, but
gross. You met a girl at a strip club and brought her back, and she wasn't working.
She wasn't a stripper. She did get on stage and strip, but she didn't work there.
We've all been there.
She was a sorority girl, but we made out that night, and then I got her phone number. And I basically just invited her over the next night, and then we went to Pound Town.
There you go.
And then the shitty thing was like we boned. Then the next day, she was like, "Oh my god, we should do that again." Blah blah blah.
Ooh, look at you.
Yeah, I know. I was like, "Yeah, that was fucking great." But we can't tonight because I have a finance project due like Wednesday, and I haven't started it yet, and I'm very confused about finance. She's like, "Oh, it can be like a study break thing." Wink face. I'm like, "Yeah, but my room is off the living room, and my roommate has friends over, and they're trying to study for a test." This is like near finals week. I was like, so it'd be kind of like awkward if I just brought you over and then we banged. And also, like, she wasn't quiet when she banged either. So
There you go.
well, I'm just like,
That's my
I
type.
know this is going to lead to an awkward situation. It's like, shut it down, and then we just kind of stopped talking.
That's sad.
Yeah. So
in this guy's situation,
I guess to take what I did wrong or just whatever, keep texting her.
yeah, definitely. Well, start with a text, but I'm afraid of what he should start with, because I think it's too cheesy and too cliche to start with like, "Oh, had a great time last night."
Yeah, it is a little bit, but you also want to reference it somehow to like be like, "Hey, remember that time?" Although if you're texting her, she's gonna remember. You like subconsciously.
Should he be kind of blunt and just be like, "Hey, so that thing we talked about the other night, what are you doing Thursday?"
See, the blunt game is so.
It's a quick way to get a shutdown.
Yeah, it's high risk, high reward.
True. Because it could speed up everything,
Yeah,
or it could derail the train.
like I had friends in grad school who were 10 years older than me, and they were talking about how they would pick up girls by just going up to them at bars and be like, "I want to eat out your pussy."
Good
And-
on them. Also bad on them.
Yeah, they were something. But anyway,
Douchebags.
they could outdrink the 20-year-olds. They were hardcore and nice guys, but yeah, they told me that. I'm just like yeah, like it works, blah blah blah, because they just kind of think you're joking. They'll laugh it off, but then they're also like subconsciously thinking about it. You
Like,
know?
I'm gonna get to eat out tonight.
And I'm like, I guess I can see that working, but I can also see myself getting punched in the face a lot.
I mean, I can save you the trouble and just punch you in the face for you.
Exactly. So I wouldn't. That game doesn't work for me. I wouldn't be super blunt about it. I would probably do a Netflix and chill thing.
Ooh.
Be like, hey, you want to come over? We'll listen to records and just hang out, and then you kind of see what happens with the night.
You gotta.
You like. I feel like if you can. Oh man, that's gonna sound really
go for it.
kidnappy. It's like, if you can get her in a room alone,
Jesus.
you can make.
Was that what that little bottle was? It was just some chloroform over there.
Like, if you can just find a reason to hang out by yourselves, and that way you can control sort of the situation. Because like texting, you don't know when she's gonna respond. You've got more time to think about what you're gonna say, but it's you can't really progress it naturally. You need to be in the same room to fuck. Obviously.
See, my going thing now is my Tinder bio is all about Jeopardy, because I love Jeopardy, and I feel like Jeopardy is that like non-creepy thing to invite somebody over for, because like I don't know anybody who truly hates Jeopardy, because it's kind of fun,
Yeah.
but it also is like not rapey sounding.
I never think about Jeopardy as being a turn on though.
No, it's not a turn on. I mean, it's a fun little competitive game, and competition breeds flirtation.
Right.
And then flirtation
yeah.
ends up in,
We're
Pony
thinking
Town.
about this from different angles. Because I'm thinking you're going for the competition thing, which I like that.
I'm going for the fun flirt, because my, I guess, selling point is I have a good sense of humor.
Right. I was thinking, like I haven't tried it yet, so who knows. But I would try the records thing and then see how we connect on the music, because the record is kind of like, it's the hip thing to do these days, and you can appreciate the album, and then you can talk about the music and stuff, and then it's like, oh man, we just connected on a whole nother level.
Yeah, but the problem with that is what happens like at the end of the first side of the 45. All of a sudden you're like, oh great, we were making out, now I gotta get up and flip the record over because she's gonna get weirded out by the silence.
No, you keep making out. What do you mean? It's like when a song ends or a movie ends and you're making out. You don't start a new movie.
And then all this... What are you talking about? I just keep watching more episodes of House of Cards. Sorry, ma'am, your tongue tastes delicious, but I gotta see what happens to Freddy's restaurant. I really do. JK,
man.
it's bought out.
Oh yeah, I was wondering how far you were.
So, yeah, you gotta get that communication flowing, because if you're waiting on her to make the next move, she will already be onto somebody else.
Yeah, exactly. You gotta hump on this, dude.
Because
I think I just said hump on this
dude
instead of hop on this.
But it's one of those things, like a girl who wants to have a friends with benefits situation doesn't mean she's only shopping in one aisle of the grocery store.
Oh yeah.
So you gotta watch out.
Mm-hmm. Get there quick and hope that, yeah, it's not anywhere else. I was trying to think of a food-related joke and I fell short.
Nice. See, I didn't even give me enough time to come up with anything to make up for the fact that you didn't have anything.
Yeah.
All right.
Why do people listen to us again?
They don't.
Oh.
Next question. For the last year and a half, I've been in a relationship with an amazing girl. She does nothing but boost me up, and I've never been more attracted to anyone else ever. And I know 200% her love for me is pure.
What do you mean 200%?
I don't know.
Out of how much of a percentage?
I don't know. The problem is that I worry that where I'm only 18, we started when I was 16, and she was my first, that I haven't had the chance to experience other things and other people.
You're going to break up.
She was my first, but I was her fourth. I'm not going to...
How old is she?
I'm not going to lie. I'm a little insecure about this, but she has had her chance to experience with other people, and I didn't. What should I do?
Break up.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of weird.
Classic advice.
It's kind of weird. Like, it's that old Jim Gaffigan thing where it's like, when you're single, all you see are couples. And then when you're in a couple, all you see are hookers.
Yeah.
And the whole idea, like, you're in there and you're on your own little situation and everything is temptation. And that's really what it boils down to, is temptation. And you're just like, huh, let's see. Because I've definitely dated somebody with a bit more experience than I had, like as my first. And that is a little bit terrifying at first.
It is. Like, I can understand him being insecure about that, because I was insecure about that. My first had been with one other guy before me, and that was enough for me to be like, oh man, I'm a little insecure. I hope he's better. And I would ask her, or I hope I'm better. And I would ask her, and she would reaffirm that I was better than him at everything, and blah, blah, blah.
That competition, man.
Yeah. So it was it just took a little bit of reassurance, but I got over it, and now I don't think about it. I don't think it really phases me too much.
I think the biggest issue here is his age.
I think so too.
He's 18.
Yeah.
So like, when you're 18 and if you're in like your first relationship, you're obviously going to have that question mark.
Yeah.
Of just like, well, what has she experienced? Did she do like German browsers porn, and then all of a sudden now she's here and I'm too bland?
I'm not even thinking about that. I'm thinking like, you're 18. You're going to inevitably have like some sort of existential crisis, or like
he's already having one.
Or
it sounds like,
or like an identity crisis where you're like thinking, what if I wake up in 30 years and I'm still with her, and then it's like, what could have happened? He's definitely
who could I have banged?
He's got that what if question just stuck in his head.
And I think that's like the trade-off of being in a relationship, is it's like dedicating yourself to one flavor ice cream.
Right.
And you're just like, I'm going to eat vanilla forever. And then all of a sudden you see your friend walking by with like mint chocolate chip. And you're just like, man, I could have that.
I want that mint chocolate chip.
I couldn't, but they could have that.
You would shit everywhere. And
like, you're always going to have that comparison side by side where you're just like, I wonder, like what you said, I wonder what if. And if you're 18, you're having that problem because your current girlfriend's had like 4 other partners, which good on her. That's a pretty good sign that that's not going to work out for you.
Yeah.
Because obviously if it's a problem now, it's only going to compound with more and more time. So go ahead and get that experience, but don't do it while you're still in a relationship.
Yeah, it's okay. You can break up and go bang other people. It's okay.
I mean, you're 18. There's plenty of more people to bang.
Yeah.
I banged way more people since I was 18 than I did before I was 18.
Yeah, me too.
So, it's pretty good advice. Break up.
It was pretty easy advice. Wasn't too challenging.
Yeah, but the idea is like trying to get over that. I guess it's the stigma, because you probably would ideally like to be with somebody that has like the same kind of experience you do.
I don't care.
On some regards. I mean, like, if you start dating a girl and like you've been dating for a couple months and she's like, I've slept with 37 dudes.
I think it also depends on what the experience brings to the table. Like, if it brings some awesome thing that she does with her mouth, then I'm like, I don't care about your experience. All I care is that it's happening to my dick right now, and you're married to me, and you are never leaving.
I keep remembering that scene from Clerks, which I don't know if you've seen Clerks.
No, I haven't.
We should watch that after. The guy, he starts talking to his girlfriend, and she mentions that she slept with a different guy. And he's like, what? I told you that you were like my 7th. And she goes, yeah. Well, what's your number? And she's like, I don't want to tell you. You're going to get mad. And he's like, what's your number? The answer is 37. She sucked 37 dicks. So, like, he just starts freaking out and, like, he makes her leave because he can't comprehend it. And the next sentence out of his mouth to a random customer is, my girlfriend sucked 37 dicks. And the customer just looks at him and goes, in a row? And then he turns around and follows her through the parking lot. So I can understand that stigma, but that's a crazy ratio compared to this situation.
Right.
4 by 18 doesn't sound crazy.
4 by 18?
I guess.
I don't know.
I mean, it depends. If you started when you're 14, that's obviously wrong.
True.
But, like, before you were dating, I mean, 16, 17, that's kind of normal.
Yeah.
I guess. So, like,
I don't know.
I don't look at that and be like, okay, cool. I would have banged people at 16 if I was 16.
Yeah, I would have banged people at 16 if people wanted to bang me at 16.
Tom, it's not about you.
It's always about me.
It's not about your resentment. All right, next question. All right, this is kind of a long one.
Okay. I'll strap myself in.
Is it? I can't remember what the question is here.
It's so long, you lost the question mark.
I'm just going to read this through because I've had these questions loaded in since before I went to Placid.
Okay.
So I'm trying to like remember what I was looking at when I pulled these off. Mm-hmm. This past Saturday night, a friend number 1, had a St. Patrick's Day party. There was a girl there who was known to be, well, easy. We all drank all night, and then I went to bed. Friend number 3 comes up from the basement and says friend number 2, who is married, and the loose girl are getting really cozy. He goes outside for a cigarette and comes back in. I told him to go to the basement to see if they were going at it. He fakes looking at his phone and then goes to check. Friend number 3 claims friend number 2 was mid-thrust and showed no intent of hiding the act.
I'm already confused.
Hang on.
I need friends to have names.
That's too late for me to do this.
And genders.
Friend number 3 comes back to tell me what has happened, and I decide that I'm out. I go to the basement to get my shoes. Now they clearly have been going at it with a blanket half covering them, pretending to be asleep. I get my shoes and we leave. As we were leaving, I text friend number 1 and tell them that we just caught friend number 2 having sex with random girl. He informs me that he has caught them before in a previous encounter. So we have 3 people catch these 2 in the act, and our friend needs to tell friend number 4 who is her husband. So what?
Can you break it down for me?
Yes. 2 friends caught their 3rd friend having sex with a married girl at their party.
Okay.
Do they tell friend number 4?
Friend number 4 is the husband.
Yes.
Okay. That makes a lot more sense.
So, okay. Huh.
Ooh, man, heavy.
Yeah. Have you ever caught a friend cheating on anybody else?
No. Never caught them in the act of it. I've caught friends like flirting with other people while they've been in a relationship, and I'm just sort of like, are you actually flirting, or am I just reading too into this?
I've caught. It's tough. I've caught friends who are in relationships, in like a long distance relationship, clearly working on like their next relationship before cutting off the previous one.
Gotcha.
But I don't think I've ever.
I mean, yeah, that's been me.
Was it you? Oh.
I mean,
so I can't quite remember. I don't think I've ever like watched. I've never watched anybody else have sex. I don't think. Oh no, I have. Not on purpose, and they weren't friends. It's just people.
it wasn't porn.
No, that doesn't count, or else my number would be way higher.
Right.
So I guess I never really thought of it that way, but it's weird. If your friends were married, would you tell on them for having sex with other people?
It depends on how close I am with friend 4, the husband guy. If we're pretty close, I guess I would tell him.
What if friend number 4 asked you?
If friend number 4 asked me, I wouldn't lie to him, but I might do the old omit the truth sort of a thing, because I don't think it's my place to get into their business and try to stir shit up. Like,
right, like you wouldn't just show up at their doorstep and be like, "Hey man, do you want to get coffee? Your wife's sleeping with some other dude."
Yeah, like yeah, because that's not giving the wife the chance to tell the person. Also, I don't know, maybe the husband is okay with this, and
maybe
this
it's like an open thing.
Yeah, like you don't know the dynamics of their relationship.
I would feel so paranoid. I could never do an open relationship. I'll tell you that.
Oh, I could never do that either.
I think it's because I'm weirdly possessive, but not like in a way that I own your body. But I would feel uncomfortable if like the person I was closest to was also off just banging random people.
I'm a control freak.
Like I've been cheated on, so maybe that plays into it. Definitely plays into it.
It 100% plays into it. Me, I like being in control, so I wouldn't, if she's banging somebody else, it feels like I've lost control of the situation. Not that I'm trying to control her. Actually, one of my favorite things is when
she takes control.
Oh my god, yeah, if she's dominating me, I'm all about that.
That's why I search with certain age parameters on.
But yeah, I don't think I would tell friend, because it's none of my business. I kind of fall back to the old, not Dr. Oz. Who's the sex doctor?
Dr. Drew or Dr. Ruth?
Dr. Drew.
Because Dr. Ruth is a very different show.
Well, although this has happened before, Dr. Drew's philosophy was, or like when I was listening to Loveline growing up, was that if you're really sorry for cheating on someone, use that guilt to never do it again, and don't tell them. Because like as soon as you tell them, that just is going to ruin the entire dynamic of your relationship. It's going to ruin the entire everything, all the trust that your relationship was built on. So it's better to kind of bury it and use the guilt and never speak of it again. But yeah.
If your partner cheated on you, would you want to know? Because that's the other side of what you're talking about.
Right.
Because you said, oh, if you cheat, bury it deep and never do it again.
Are we still dating or are we not dating?
You are still dating. And
Okay.
She's like, Tom, I cheated on you.
And that's the thing. If we're dating, I want to know, because at that point I want to break up, or I want to figure out what the problem is or was.
It's obviously that you're too skinny.
Obviously.
And your breast reduction scars are really bothering me.
I'm just gonna go, okay?
Go.
Fine.
Interesting slap of the mic there.
That was me leaving.
But that's like the two sides of the coin, because if you got cheated on, you'd obviously want to know, but then if you cheated, you obviously wouldn't feel honest telling them.
Right. But if we broke up, like if I'm no longer in the relationship, I don't.
Like
I'm okay.
You wouldn't want to see her 2 months later and have her be like, "Oh yeah, by the way, when we were dating, I cheated on you."
Yeah, like I wouldn't want to know, or I also wouldn't. It would bother me. I don't know. I think it depends on how soon after the relationship I found out. Like 2 months, the scars still kind of open. Like, fuck, and she cheated on me. Like, god damn it. But if it's like 3 years out, and it's like, oh, she was cheating on me during that? I had no idea. Huh.
Doesn't affect me now.
That's weird. Yeah, exactly. It's like, oh, it doesn't affect anything now because that wound is closed. So whatever.
Yeah.
What was the question? What I want to know? What I not want to know?
Yeah.
Right. So if I'm in the relationship, I'd want to know. If I'm out of it, I don't really care.
You've already like emotionally blocked that off.
I've already detached myself. So.
Which is weird because the first time I was cheated on.
Been cheated on multiple times?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Sorry.
The first time I had suspicions, and that's kind of what drove the relationship to break. Mm-hmm. And then I found out it was true.
Right.
So, I don't know, I kind of felt good on myself for kind of figuring that out. But
You were a
also
detective
super
of sorts.
shitty.
Yeah.
Because it's just like, oh, what if I didn't do my research?
Yeah. How long would have this gone on without me knowing?
Exactly. So
I wasn't a Sherlock Holmes.
Let me light my pipe and pull my hat down. Or no, is that Watson?
A Sherlock Holmes only for sex.
Sex locks Holmes.
Oh my god, this is all right. Sex locks Holmes. It's a Benedict Cumberbatch lookalike. We're going off the modern Sherlock BBC series.
Of course you are.
It's a Benedict Cumberbatch lookalike. He goes and investigates sex crimes. Not sex crimes.
Sex crimes. Jesus. He's showing up at the scenes of rapes and he's like, she was cheating on him. Sexer ditch or whatever is sex locks. No, she was assaulted.
No, like he investigates like cheaters, like serial cheaters, that sort of a thing.
Oh, so he's not just a politically incorrect asshole, just like pointing out and making the problem worse.
No, yeah, like he sleuths it. Like you think your person's cheating on you, and then he combs through your emails and finds a big old clue of splooge on some underwear that doesn't belong to you.
His big old clue, and then he writes it down into his notebook and whisks himself into a painting just like his two-dimensional dog.
Is that Blue's Clues?
Hell yeah, it is.
Okay.
That's going to be our Benedict Cumberbatch lookalike. It's going to be Steve from Blue's Clues. And he's going to go around in a trench coat and read your emails.
Oh my god.
He's basically the NSA.
Oh man, this is great. I love this. Let's make it happen.
Oh god, sex locks Holmes.
Let's get Bruckheimer on the phone.
No, Nicolas Cage.
Strakowski?
Okay. So yeah, it's tough. There's a fine line there. I think you should keep it to yourself unless asked. 2, your buddy should probably not marry the loose girl, quote unquote.
Well, hey, like, what do you mean the loose girl?
They said that the girl was easy in the beginning of the question when you were getting confused on which friend was which.
Okay, but is that slut shaming?
If she cheats on him after the fact, it's kind of like reaffirmation.
Sure, but did they say that she was the easy girl because like she had a lot of sex before they got married?
I assume so.
I assume so too, and that's slut shaming, and that's prejudging someone, and that's not good.
It was perfectly okay, but then, I mean, it's not okay. That's not a proper thing to say. But, like, when that then becomes, like, a cheating scenario.
Yeah. It's one of those things where, like, I scold that they talked about her like that, but then she kind of affirmed that moniker.
Yeah.
So
basically don't cheat.
Yeah.
But don't mention it unless, like, he says, hey, man, I have a suspicion. Then you can be like, yeah, man, I totally walked in on some other dude railing her.
And then put on your hat and your pipe and be like, yes.
Okay.
I am Sex Locks Holmes.
Let's take it in a cheerier direction.
Okay. Does it still involve Benedict Cumberbatch?
No.
Can it?
No. My significant other has been living with me for almost a year. I found out that he has not worked in 6. He had
Oh.
lied to me for years about having a job.
Oh, man.
I'm
of
the one who
these.
submits his resume for jobs. I doubt he ever looks at or replies to anyone interested in hiring him. I ask him to do simple tasks during the day while I'm gone at work. These tasks are rarely done or completed. He sits at the computer all day long looking at silly sites. I've talked with him several times about it and still no change. I work an hour away and am gone for 10 to 12 hours a day and still come home to do all the cooking and cleaning. He's super nice and a lovable guy, but I just don't know how to make him see that he needs to step it up and get a job. I even suggested that he take some vitamins to help with his energy level so he'll be a little bit more interested in actually doing a job. Also, we're in our 40s.
Oh, man.
First of all, shitty on you for dating a guy for long enough that you live together and you don't know what he does for a
Well,
living.
I want to dive into her psyche a little bit. So they are both in their 40s.
Yeah.
I assume that she's past the baby making stage for the most part.
You're a negative person.
Okay, well, after like your mid 30s, the rate of birth defects increases, or the likelihood will. So I don't know, maybe she's a little lonely, but most importantly, she's got this thing where she has to be the one to change him. Like, he is a challenge, and she has to be the one to tame him, control him, make him bend to her will. But, you know, like, she's doing it for his betterment. Like, she's not being a bitch, you know what I mean? But she has to be the one to change him.
I mean, I guess.
It's this complex of, like, I can change this person, but only I can do it.
I think
Have you never felt like that with anyone?
I've definitely felt like the one who wants to do more things in a relationship. I don't know necessarily about working. I think I've only ever dated one person who actually had a job.
I had a period where I was interested in girls who I perceived to be not broken, but just like needed.
You wanted to date projects?
I just yeah, a little bit.
Is that like where you thought your worth was? You're just like, I need to get a girl with low standards right now and then boost her back up, because by then she'll be committed to me, and then she'll go from being like a 6 to like a bona fide 8 with confidence.
Well, no, not so much like that. More like I'm feeling a little emotionally damaged. I feel like you're feeling a little bit more emotionally damaged. I am attracted to that because I see it in myself, and I also want to help you through it, which will also help me through it, sort of a thing.
I guess. I sometimes look at it from that perspective where it's just like, I think there'd be a fun, like, little, not fun, I mean, I don't like looking at it as a project, but I like seeing somewhat diamonds in the rough type thing.
Right.
And then working with it from that perspective of it being like, because when you get your shit together and you're super happy, I'll have my shit together. Maybe that's just a projection because I know I'm 24 and I don't have my shit together. So I'm just like, I need somebody else who has low expectations of what their life should be right now.
Gotcha.
I'll see people on like Tinder or whichever sites, and they're like, I'm 23 and I work full time and I just want to date people who have their shit together. It's like, how many people do you think are out there who do that?
I mean, I feel like everyone's just sort of figuring it out in general. Like, no one has
I
their
don't even
shit
know what
fully
it-
together.
I think I've slowly realized that as I get older.
Yeah.
Is that I'm doing more and more things and I literally don't know. I see that one Tumblr thing. It's like being an adult is not really knowing what to do, but just looking around aimlessly trying to find the food.
But anyway, I kind of derailed that for a little bit. What was the person's question again?
She's just like, what should she do now that she's in this situation? That like she works 10, 12 hours a day, so she can't be held responsible for the dude.
So what she needs to do is break up with him. What I understand why she's not doing it is because everything we just talked about. Like, he's sort of a project. She wants to be the one to make him better. She wants to elevate him, all that jazz. But in reality, it kind of seems like he's past the point of saving, by you at least. Like, maybe not John, but you got to know when to give up at a certain point.
I mean, I
And
think,
it's tough. You don't want to.
but it's also kind of her fault for not knowing what the guy did for a job.
Yeah. Like, what the fuck?
Like, you've been dating for, I think she said, a year.
Yeah.
They moved in together, and he doesn't have a job. I can't even hold a conversation with somebody on a dating site for more than like 4 or 5 messages before it's like the ambiguous. So what do you do?
Right.
And it's like if I just say, "Oh, I'm working sales," and they're like, "Oh, cool. What do you sell?" And I'm just like, "I work retail," and they're like, "Oh, all right, unmatch."
Bye.
And it's just like how. Maybe it's the age difference, because I think you might have hit on something before, because I assume they're close to the same age, and I just assume the older you get, the harder it becomes to find a match in your age group.
Mm-hmm.
So she just like found this guy also in his 40s, and he's single, and she's like, cool, and it's like that's gonna be a perfect fit.
True,
And then
especially
all of a
for,
sudden
like, 40s.
she's because she's like, I don't know what else to do, and what that is get on Tinder, find me. Let's make it work.
Tim has a job, everyone.
I do. I haven't been there in a little while, but I was on vacation.
You were actually laid off.
What?
Yeah, we got a letter. They just said, don't come back.
Oh. I guess my day freed up tomorrow. Kick ass!
Yeah, freed you up to stay at home all day while I go to work and you don't do any chores and stuff.
Hey, man. That's actually just switch.
I know. Well, yeah. I'm
Well-
never home to do chores.
Chores? You do
Chores.
chores all the time. You mean you're never home to do chores?
I'm never
Chores
home.
just happen to be things that Garrett and I do during the day when we have off. You could easily do them at midnight when you come home from your third job.
I guess you're right.
But yeah, maybe do more research about what your significant other does before they're like your in-home significant other.
Yeah.
Or maybe find him a job online. Maybe he could sell stuff on eBay.
True. That way he doesn't have to leave the house.
Yeah, I mean, not everybody's suited for like a work.
I wonder if he has a lot of couch sores.
Like Bedvers or Bevers.
Yeah, Bevers from Broad City. 4 and 3 and 2 and 1.
But
This whole episode was a long intro for Broad City.
yeah, you gotta dump that shit, man. Dump that guy. He sounds pretty shitty if he doesn't have a job.
Dump that shit like the poutine I dumped on Saturday morning.
I don't think that's a positive thing to say. Although the loaded fries did come out with a bit of a kick this morning. But yeah, that's super shitty. Find out what your significant other does for a job, and if they don't have a job, rethink letting them move in with you.
Yeah.
Because now basically you're responsible for all the bills, all the housework, and everything, and he's doing nothing. Unless he's got a lot of money. If he's got a lot of money, keep him.
Lazy.
So, yeah, that's some good advice.
Solid.
Tom, are you ready for the next part of the show?
Yeah.
We haven't even mentioned it yet. This is episode 30.
Oh, yeah, it is.
We've done roughly 25 of these.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
been a couple weeks we didn't do them.
Oh, yeah.
So for those of you who are new to the show, every week Tom and I like to see what Tom knows about the news this week. These are all headlines that I've pulled from the various interwebs around the world because Tom admittedly doesn't watch too much of the news.
Nope.
Because he doesn't have time for housework. He definitely doesn't have time to watch an hour's worth of news every night.
I get the highlights every once in a while.
So what I've done is I pulled some headlines. I'm going to read them for Tom, and he has to figure out which one I made up about a week ago. And he's going to watch as I try not to laugh during the one I almost gave away earlier. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. British crematorium cremates wrong grandma.
Oops. Your grandma's dust now, Johnny.
Man attempting to set record for most ice cream consumed dies of hypothermia.
Is that possible?
Totally possible. Anytime your body core temperature is in an environment such as this, like if you were naked right now and you laid on the floor and it stayed this temperature, you would die of hypothermia.
But, like, you're ingesting something cold.
You're putting it in your body. He's trying to eat the most. Number 3, Florida woman teaches alligator to ride four-wheeler and shoot gun.
Excuse me? How the fuck is that not fake?
Minnesota man stabbed
That's
by...
a fucking Photoshop. No, hold up. That's a fucking Photoshop that you found online. That's not a headline.
Minnesota man stabbed by spouse for forgetting to get the breadsticks.
God damn it, Bernice.
Online
The husband's name is Bernice.
Online poll to name UK research vessel reveals winning name from online submission, Boaty McBoatface. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read through all those headlines one more time, and you have to figure out which one I made up. Huh.
Oh, God.
British crematorium cremates wrong grandma.
Real.
Man attempting to set record for most ice cream consumed dies of hypothermia.
Real.
Florida woman teaches alligator to ride four-wheeler and shoot gun.
I can't believe it, but I'm saying real.
Minnesota man stabbed by a spouse for forgetting to get the breadsticks.
Real.
And an online poll to name UK research vessel reveals winning name Boaty McBoatface.
Fake.
Is that your final answer?
Yeah. I feel like you're going to tell me it's real, but it feels like something you and Garrett would make up.
Tom, in the past couple weeks, since this is about a week old now, a British crematorium did cremate the wrong grandma. A man did die of hypothermia after trying to set the record for most ice cream consumed. An online poll did name a boat Boaty McBoatface. And a Florida woman did teach an alligator to ride a four-wheeler and shoot a gun.
Oh, so it's breadstick, dude.
Yeah.
I did not see that coming.
Weirdly, the calmest one of the bunch turned out not to be true.
Yeah.
But I'm asking you, as soon as this is over, you're going to pull up your computer and type Boaty McBoatface into there. And you're going to see it's a real fucking thing.
Awesome.
So that concludes episode 30 of the podcast. That's a milestone.
Mm-hmm.
We are old enough to raise our birth defects for our children.
Old enough to be the last girl I dated.
Oddly specific. Old enough to be too young for the next girl I'm going to date. Look at that. I'm setting myself for standards, or that means I'm going to be single for a very long time.
For like 25 more years.
But, yeah, all that aside, I think we gave out some pretty decent advice.
Yeah.
Be confident in yourself.
Boobs are boobs. All boobs are beautiful.
Definitely have a job by the time you're 40 and living with somebody else.
Yeah.
But
understand that you can't change everybody.
Can't change everybody. Sometimes the only thing you can change is the locks on the door.
No, that was good. I thought you were going to say it was yourself.
No, never change yourself.
Oh, I'm always changing myself.
Body dysmorphia. So if you have any questions or advice you would like us to tackle on the show, feel free to send us an email at neverhaveievershow@gmail.com. Check us out on Twitter at twitter.com/NHIE show or on Facebook and the YouTube. Until next week, I'm Tim.
I'm Tom.
And from the Octagon, kids, keep those fingers in the air.